Hello, RWorld, and welcome back to another episode of RWorld Talk. We are lucky enough to have with us today Anthony Acevedo, who is our Senior Vice President of Communications here at RWorld. Welcome, Anthony.
Hey, thanks, Chris.
So you are typically behind the scenes, so a lot of our members may not know who you are. So we're lucky to have you on the show because you keep a lot of what we're doing, a lot of the things that we put out and the events that we have and the content that we push out there. Obviously, this podcast. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your story so that our members know who the heck Anthony is?
Well, it's a little surreal because I'm usually behind the scenes here, but it's nice. It's nice to be on camera. So thank you for having me. The podcast, my story. Well, I've been in the association world for about 9 years now.
Okay.
And, before that, prior to that, I was in marketing and comms for, I want to say another 15, 16 years. So it's...
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I didn't even know that. And I know you very well. Okay.
It's been a wild ride. I started off in the legal profession when I was in college. And I decided, I said, I got to do something a little bit more fulfilling.
Okay.
I thought I was going to be an attorney. So Courtney's probably laughing right now because I'm the farthest thing from it.
But that's why you're so smart.
Yeah, maybe. But, I was unfulfilled and I took a kind of a leap, I would say. And I got connected with some people in Texas and had the opportunity to travel and be based out of Texas and do live streaming production before live streaming production was a thing.
Okay.
Before you could do it on your iPhone or on your desktop app or Skype or iChat, all the above, we had to go into different companies or event venues and set up all these different wires and connections and signals and FTP type server information to set up these live streaming events. So I had the opportunity to apprentice with these really, this great team out in Dallas. And they really just took me under their wing.
Okay.
And I just started learning the creative lane and industry. And
we're going to be calling you Big Tex now.
I got my 10-gallon hat. Yeah, it was great. It was a great opportunity, and outside of that, it really just opened up a new world for me on a creative level. And I think by getting around those key people and having the opportunity to just see what others are doing in the creative space, I was like, okay, well, you know what? I think there's an avenue here for me. And rather than just do an internship or an apprenticeship with this, I think that I can make this into a journey of mine in a full-time career.
Amazing. Well, we're so happy that you did. I'll tell you how appreciative I am being a member of this organization and having some of the most beautiful marketing concepts. I mean, even the newsletters that we pump out, I know that you were the man behind all that creative work. Having RWorld Talk, I mean, this amazing logo that we have now, but especially with the communications that come out of this organization. I'm a member of several realtor organizations, and I have to tell you that our emails are clear, concise, beautiful. I mean, the everything that you're looking at is just so rich and pleasing to the eye, very straightforward, very easy to read, short and sweet, but like really you're a master at getting our message across in a way that is so palatable and appealing and beautiful to look at. So thank you for that. And I know that you worked really well with Ann Barr on the creative of coming up with the consumer campaign that we have now, the Only a Realtor consumer campaign. Incredible work there that, a few weeks ago, you and I were out at Inman hoping that we were going to receive an award from them for that consumer campaign, which was absolutely amazing. But me and you had a conversation one night sitting at the bar about this podcast and where this all came from. I mean, you're the godfather of this podcast. So why don't you tell us about where this concept came from and why you thought that this was going to be a great thing for our members to have access to?
Well, thank you. And just to back up for a second, all those great emails and all those great things that we do here at the association, I really do have an awesome team. They are, without a doubt, some of the best within the county or in South Florida in my mind. And so they produce a lot of great resources and things for our members. So I don't do it alone, right?
It takes a village to do everyththing we do with an organization this size.
It does. And just to even take that a step further, our staff really here, and everybody from Deanna down is on another level. And I know this because I talk to a lot of different comms directors and staff across the nation at conferences and things. And, some of our stuff is really out in the community and nationwide.
Right.
So people are watching what we're doing.
And if you guys don't know this, the staff here at RWorld is so incredibly happy. I mean, people like you, like you said, from Deanna all the way down, but especially senior staff, you guys have like such a cohesive element to everything that you do. Everybody gets along. I mean, sure, things get a little bit hectic and crazy, like I said, with something that's this size, but I think that's really a testament to the leadership within this organization that you can attract that caliber of people to come in here and work for you in all your various departments.
Right. No, I agree. And you know what? You said it perfect. It takes a village, and that's what we have. We have not just a village, we have a good village.
Yeah.
So back to the Inman, Vegas. We were honored to be up for that award for the consumer campaign, and Anbar and even Indian Atlantic, who shot the commercials, did a phenomenal job at in helping craft that. But Matthew Ledger and I also had a big role with that. And so I think having that opportunity to be on a stage, like Inman and Inman Connect, and as well as with some of the other different brokerages who have great branding and marketing campaigns out there, like Remax has a phenomenal commercial. Yeah. If you haven't seen that commercial that they did for their consumers, it's great. We were completely honored and humbled. So that just shows a great testament to what we're doing is getting not only national traction, but consumer traction too. And that's really why we did it. We wanted to make sure that we were able to tell a story. And there's many stories to be told to consumers about the everyday aspect of being a realtor and portraying that professionalism, the value, the expertise and knowledge, all the above. But how do you dissect that into a 30-second spot? And how do you get some type of emotional connection to where it resonates with your audience?
Right. We play that commercial and people cry.
I cry. No, it's I don't cry, but you know what? I do get that warm sensation and feeling because it's impactful, and that's the thing. It's when you can take a connection as somebody's family departing from a house for 24 years and creating these lifelong memories and happiness, and it's just all about centered around the things that they love, and then there's that aspect that the realtor comes to play and kind of gets them out of that, but into something new. Anybody who has kids or any type of home like that or has had a home like that's going to have that connection. You've
either been the child that left the home, or you're that parent that's just thinking about the day that your child is going to leave the home. So it's like pulling that emotion out of you. Let's talk about the podcast. Where did this all come from? How was this born?
Podcast. So, we've been talking. Podcast is nothing new, right? I mean, it's been going strong for a good decade.
But ours is a good one.
A good decade. And I'm a lover of everything podcast, and I have been for years. I think that where we first started having these talks was a few years ago, maybe a couple years ago. And, I just think that we thought about it, but, just in due time, you're not ready for everything, right?
Right.
One thing that we do here is, snowball tons of different projects, and sometimes they take a long time, like, the consumer campaign. This is 3 years in the making.
Right.
So we circled back around to it. And I know that, even talking to you at the end of last year, in 2022, you really, that was something that you wanted to get lifted off the ground as an initiative. So I think we just started really having those talks behind the scenes.
Right.
And, it's a value prop, right? I mean, do we have the ability to create videos here at the association with green screen, with a great videographer and different resources? Yeah, absolutely. So it just was transitioning, our strategy from, just creating content with visual graphics and emails, like you said,
Right.
and just taking that and letting content be king in a more organic way, right?
Right. Well, we put the videos out, and the videos, they're incredibly informative, they're relevant, they need to be produced, and they need to be sent out to our membership. But at the same time, when somebody's taking a look at a video like that, it's one person talking to the audience, static content, and it's done. But I think these podcasts are an amazing way for us to get a ton of relevant content out to the consumer in a way that they're actually looking for that content, and it's constantly changing. So nobody knows what they're going to get every Friday morning. It's constantly engaging. It's something new. It's fresh. It's relevant. It's something that's going on either in the community or within the industry or whatnot. And I get so many compliments on the podcast. People absolutely love getting the information this way, and they listen to it Friday morning on their way to the office.
Right.
And it's very convenient for them to find out what's going on and keep up to date on what's happening in the industry.
Well, and people are they're craving content, right?
Yep.
I mean, you pull up Instagram or TikTok or Facebook, and for how many hours or minutes of the day are we really just trying to dissect everything that's coming across our eyes?
Well, we're spending too much time on social media is what we're doing. But if that's where people are, might as well get them where they, be where they need us to be.
Sure. And that's the thing. And people are looking at real estate related content, that time that they were looking for a house, or the member was looking for some event to be had at the association. It's all algorithm based, right? And so that's why we use social too for the podcast. But yeah, it just made sense at the end of the day. And I think the opportunity was right here in 2023. To give you a little kudos. You've been a phenomenal host. Great to work with behind the scenes. It's not. I'm not going to say that it's easy doing it.
It is not easy.
Is it? The best way to describe it is it's very rewarding. It's not easy. It's very easy to start. I will say, to get up and running as far as affordability, and just to getting started.
Right. Well, we did that episode where we had myself, David, Searle, Jonathan Lickstein, and we had that episode on sort of how to run your podcast. We tried to record it, via Zoom, because that was a complicated time that we were trying to get this stuff out. But I think that, if this building wasn't locked down, it would have been a heck of a lot better to do this during the pandemic while people were, sitting at home just craving to know what in the world is going on. But unfortunately, asking people to come into a building during the pandemic, it would be hard to sit here with masks on and do a podcast in a closed area. But let's talk about how we've got a crazy caliber of guests that are always on the show. Where are we sourcing those people from, and why are we choosing the people that we were choosing? I know obviously with Elliot Eisenberg last week, bow tie economist, very easy choice to have somebody like him on the podcast. But somebody like Crystal Stiles that we had on from Florida Power and Light, she was a really engaging guest, and I've had a ton of great feedback on that episode because it was content that people were not aware of. We gave them something that they didn't know that they didn't know. So I think that a lot of time is what piques somebody's interest. But you've come up with a lot of ideas for the guests that we've had on the show. So why are you picking the people that we're picking?
We have to diversify, right? Mm-hmm. We need a large pool of different minds, saying something that contributes to, again, the value of our membership. One of the constants is, does this guest, can he or she add value to what we're doing here at RWorld? And it may be a little bit of value, or it may be a whole segment that is really centered around the real estate industry. But we try to be creative, and I say we, me, you, and David also that helps direct these. We try to think of people that are going to be influencers in the community, or within the real estate industry. And for instance, Crystal, she has a big initiative going on with FPL right now with the energy savings and kind of the green market. And it made sense for her to come on and tell that story to, again, help save members time without searching for things when maybe that question is posed, what if my customers have a Tesla or a hybrid or something to that effect. What happens in the home? What's the process for that? So it really just, it makes sense to have things like that caliber or those people come on the show and give just stories about what they're doing in the community. I mean, we really are very community centric here too at RWorld. And we want to know what's going on in the chambers. We want to know what the elected officials are doing, and we want to know what the big companies like FPL have in store. So
and Ben Port from Brightline that we had on, that was incredible information as well. We were able to tell our members what was going on with that Orlando leg before they even heard it from the media.
But then we'll have, like Brightline or even, members, Holly Meyer Lucas, really tapping into.
She was fun and engaging.
Niche markets where, whether it's baseball, athletes, or she has an arsenal of school teachers that she, has on her team. It's stories like that I feel like our members need to hear, because there's a lot of great realtors, there's a lot of great influencers here in the community, and it's just another platform for them to tell their story.
Right. So what else is coming up with RWorld as far as the comms team goes and everybody that you're working with? I know that you've been busy with Ambar, who's been doing a great job. You plus Ambar working together to get us media exposure on the great work that we're doing here at the association, what we're doing for the community, what's happening in the market, being able to get those market reports out and really make sure that the local media outlets are reaching out to us to be that voice for real estate, to give them the information that they need so that they're hearing it right from the horse's mouth. So what else are we working on here that we could tell the viewers about that's not top secret?
I think you kind of nailed it, right? You were always looking for different things to include within, our membership. Stats is a great one. We're always looking for different ways to highlight stats or add different stats to our arsenal. Media relations, you touched on that. We're hiring, or we actually just hired somebody. Samantha Mins is going to be coming on our team.
Nice.
October
Welcome,
6th.
Samantha.
And she is going to be helping out with some writing and some social media. So,
beautiful.
So, we're trying to get more staff in communications and marketing to really just, again, help craft and tell our story to members, help tell the member story. It's not just about, what we're doing here. That's great. It's also about what, these realtors and members are doing too. So we need manpower, woman power. We need just more bandwidth.
Okay, sounds good. So let's get out of member services and what we're doing here, and let's get a little bit fun. What in the world do you do in your free time? What are you doing for fun?
Oh, well, I
know you're a fisher.
I think you know.
Yeah,
that.
me and you both like to fish.
Yeah, so I love to fish, and you can catch me on the water, whether it's fresh or salt water.
You do a lot more freshwater fishing than I do. I do. When I was growing up, it was always lakes fishing, but now that I'm down south and I live on the water, I'm always trying to get the boat out as much as I can, but that's all salt water. But I've seen you with like huge peacock bass before.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm a bass guy. So, and this comes during my days of living in Clewiston, Florida, which is bass capital, right? I think the condos I actually lived in was called Bass Capital.
Oh, really? Okay.
Go figure.
Yeah.
Across from the Roland Martin Marina. And so, yeah, I'm a bass guy. I'll catch the saltwater stuff and, the snook and sharks or whatever it is. And those are fun, but you can find me with a line in the water within the pine trees, on a Saturday or Sunday, just by myself and having a great time. That is my Zen, moment. That's my go-to.
And you're married?
I'm married.
You have children?
2 kids.
Okay.
Yeah, they're great.
So if anybody didn't see the episode where we had Meg from Ambar, the notches on the wall, if you look very closely, those are actually Anthony's kids' names that are on that wall. So immortalized, or maybe immortalized forever. They're going to be on that commercial. So that's really cool.
Well, I showed it to him. I showed him the video, and then I showed him some
behind the scenes.
Oh yeah. And I said, "Look, you guys are famous. You're on TV."
What they say?
Oh my gosh, that's crazy, Dad. So I scored some brownie points.
Yeah, you're a superhero. Okay, well, let's talk about our last question. Unless you have anything you want to add.
You know what? I maybe we should touch on branding for a minute.
Let's talk about branding.
So, and you've heard, I obviously created the brand here for RWorld and kind of our new merger identity and look, and I think it's been a successful brand and whatnot, but
which previously we outsourced that stuff and it was hella expensive. And then Anthony said, you know what, let me take a crack at it and see what I could do. So yeah, tell us about that.
So you're right. To kind of give the long story, we were looking to, kind of go with another company, and here I am on the communications and marketing side, and we didn't really love what they were giving us, right?
Right.
After different, kind of samples, I should call them, or mock-ups. It was round for round, and then finally, we were just getting nowhere. And I said, hey, Deanna, and Deanna came to me. We're like, can you do this? I was like, yeah. I was like, I didn't know you wanted me to. Just give me a shot. So we ended up creating this brand, right? And so everybody sees, and the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because it's a little bit more impactful than just a logo and an identity.
Which we love the logo. We wear it so proudly.
Well, thank you. But, and it's fun, right? I mean, whether we create, the RWorld Talk brand or the RWorld brand in general, there was strategy behind that, right?
Right.
But, everybody comes up to me and they keep defining the brand as the symbol. And I get it. And it's
so recognizable.
It's pretty understandable that people always think that our brands are really just the logo and symbol. But, I kind of just want to get out here and say this, and they are a part of our brand, right? They're part of who we are. But really, our brand is more to that. Our brand is really what makes us. It is a part of us. It is a part of our identity, whether it's the symbol or the tagline or the website or the culture. But branding really is our reputation.
Absolutely.
That's been tossed around for the last few years or so, and it's really stuck with me in a lot of ways. Is that it's the reputation of our services and what we do. So really, this brand that we created, RWorld, and for those of you who don't know what RWorld is, if you're getting this email and you're still like, what is this RWorld thing? Right. RWorld was created because we were in a need, in a dire need to blend these, two associations, the massive ones, GFOR and RAPB, were the acronyms, that we had to come up with another identity. And, our new legal name change, Broward, Palm Beaches, and St. Lucie Realtors, was just it's a mouthful, right?
Right.
We all know that. But
it does properly bring into the fold every one of our, organizations pre-mergers. I mean, they're all lumped in there into one, but for everybody to unify with RWorld and, be able to just call ourselves RWorld is fantastic.
And we were collecting all these different, I would say, kind of pieces from all the associations that we're bringing through. And the Fort Lauderdale board actually had the domain R-World.
Yeah.
And so we were like, I think there's something, I don't know about the dash, but I think there's something with RWorld. And so I just remember a group of us in Deanna's office just brainstorming and then just thinking, is there something more to be had here with RWorld? Can we do something? Is it our world, our future? Is it our world, your world? I mean, whatever
right.
It was, like, what can we do with this to make it stick? And I think, for coming up with RWorld, and then we eventually bought RWorld.com because it came available. But just those talks, right? And kind of just telling that story internally and then being able to extend that to an external platform, whether it's member-centric to our members and now the community. I mean, I was out in the community the other day and they were like, hey, it's RWorld Realtors. And so, they're not even calling us by our legal name. But that is branding. We're establishing a reputation within the community or to our members.
Yep.
And it's something catchy. Who knew what Google was or what Venmo is? And,
right.
do those words and names really make sense to anybody? Not all the time. But RWorld was one of those things where it was catchy enough to actually get it across and have some interest there.
When we go to national convention, we have leaders from other associations that when they, to introduce us to someone else, they say, president of RWorld, this is the RWorld crew. I mean, RWorld has just gone across the country so quickly that everybody knows where we are without having to even use our real association name, because it is a mouthful.
I mean, just think of it. It kind of sounds real global and universal, right?
Sure does.
It sounds bigger than it is. We're pretty big with it.
It's a valued and respected brand the same way Gucci and Louis Vuitton are.
Well, I'm glad.
Yeah. No, you've done a fantastic job.
So that's what I wanted to say on branding, and there's a lot more that you guys can take from branding, but how we established, how we came to that identity was pretty fun.
Yeah, and your brand is your reputation, and as long as your reputation stays, stays top of mind, and you're true to the cause, I think that that brand really holds a lot of weight, and I'm sure it's going to for many, many, many years to come. So to wrap things up, obviously we always ask everybody to tell us about their favorite little Florida gem. Obviously you've lived Clewiston, now here in Palm Beach. You've been in Texas, so you've been around a little bit, and your favorite gem might be something that nobody's ever heard of before. So what you got for us?
Well, I'm going to give you, I'm going to give a local spot, right? Okay. I can go in a lot of different directions here. I will say, growing up, I am a native Floridian, and we are rare. But growing up in Palm Beach County, I would say the best years of my life was spent at the beach. Okay. And it was at the beach in Lantana Beach, to be honest with you. Okay. And Dune Deck Cafe. It is a little restaurant spot.
Dune Deck
Cafe. It's a little restaurant on top of the beach there, right before you're about to go down to the sand at Lantana Beach. Okay. And they have the best French fries. I'm telling you, I'm a French fry guy, and whether it's you can tell me your top 5, and I'm gonna put Dune Deck Cafe fries up there with some of the best. Okay. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the ocean air. Maybe it's the salt water. I don't know. Maybe it's just you're hungry because you've been at the beach all day. And these weren't drinking days that I was there. I was there as a kid eating fries. Right. So, but they are the best fries that I've ever had. So, check them out. But the caveat is you have to have cash, because I still don't think they take credit cards.
No credit cards.
I don't think they're digital still.
So bring your cash and meet us there this afternoon. We're going to go get a beer and some French fries. Awesome. Well, it's been a pleasure. I'm glad that we were able to get you on here and talk about how this all started and how we got to where we are today. You've done a fantastic job. We absolutely love the work that you're doing here for all of our members. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Chris. It's been a pleasure.
All right, guys, we will see you right back here next week on RWorld Talk.